Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the History and Mystery channel. I'm your host, Chronicler, and I want you to like and subscribe. Now that you have done that, I want to delve into a Dutch legend called the Flying Dutchman, or as we say, the Vliegende Hollander. For our story of today, we made 4 chapters. Let's travel back in time to Holland in the 17th century. You know what? Let's be more specific. Let's travel towards Amsterdam, the trade city of the Dutch during their golden age. In this city, a Frisian man called Bernard Fokke resided, and Bernard was known for his work as a captain for the Dutch East India Company, or like we say, the VOC, the Verenigde Oost-Indische Compagnie. As you could have guessed, being a captain of the VOC meant that Bernard spent most of his time sailing from Holland towards the East Indies, so that he could collect spices and other riches to bring home. The legend would tell us that Bernard was so fast that rumors started to spread among the people, stating that Bernard was on the run for the devil. When his next voyage was planned, Bernard faced a problem. The seas on which he was supposed to sail were being haunted by deadly storms, which caused his expedition to be delayed by multiple weeks. The longer Bernard's voyage would be delayed, the more money the VOC would lose. This was something that they couldn't afford, especially not while they were fighting a trade war with the British. The delays would cause immense frustrations for our captain and drove him towards a point in which he wouldn't care anymore, if there was a storm or not. Bernard had to get his hands on the riches of the East. During Easter weekend, he rallied his crew and told them that they were gonna set sail on Easter Sunday. The crew would beg the captain to set sail after Easter so that they could respect the holy day. Captain Bernard knew that his crew was right, but he still gave the orders to prepare the ship for his voyage on Sunday. When Sunday morning arrived, Captain Bernard Fokke assembled his crew and told them, "Storm or no storm, Easter or no Easter, I shall set sail, even if it means to sail for an eternity." The crew knew what that meant and told their loved ones goodbye. The ship had set sail on a holy day, and many of the townfolk would say that a curse had been cast upon the ship when it left its bay. The crew went on a dreadful journey towards the Dutch East Indies, a journey that would last around 8 months. During these 8 months, the crew would risk getting killed by either pirates, disease, or the powers of nature. But wait, we forget one more potential threat to the crew. The devil was lurking in the shadows. When the ship arrived in the Cape of Good Hope, it got struck by a deadly storm, and the captain would say, "Storm, high seas, thunders from the heavens. I shall sail through this storm, even if I have to sail until the day of judgment." The captain's words got heard by the devil, but also by his crew, who would get into a fiery discussion with his captain. The crew wanted to sail towards safety in the bay, but Captain Bernard Fokke wouldn't allow it. This statement would cause a fight between the captain and his helmsman. During this fight, the helmsman would grab the captain by his neck, who would then throw the helmsman overboard, damning him to death. Bernard Fokke had gone mad, and the devil noticed, who then offered him a deal. He and his crew would survive the storm, but would be damned to sail the 7 seas until the end of times, unless Bernard could find a lover who would remain loyal to him until death. To find this woman, the captain and his crew were allowed to go on land for 1 day every 7 years. The tale of the Flying Dutchman started to spread around the world just after Bernard Fokke and his ship, the Libera Nos, disappeared around the Cape of Good Hope. Sailors would tell each other that if you ever were to see the ship of the Flying Dutchman, prepare yourself for the horrors to come and pray to God to live another day. The sailors that would survive the night would be met with tragedies through the remainder of their life. In 1795, an Irishman named George Barrington was locked up in prison, and while he was locked up, he would write down his encounter with the Flying Dutchman. One night, while George was sleeping on his journey from England to Australia, his boatswain would wake him up in the middle of the night, screaming, "God, I'm terrified to death. The Flying Dutchman is sailing towards us with open sails." George made his way towards the deck, only to see that the ship had disappeared into thin air. George would call it superstition, but we saw that tragedy did come to his life in the form of a prison sentence. In 1881, a Swedish ship, under the command of Captain Larssons, would make its way through the treacherous waters surrounding the Cape of Good Hope. The crew would be met with hours of stormy weather, in which the crew could do nothing more than pray to God to survive another day. Just before the sunset would come, The storm would pass, but the horrors would remain. A mysterious glow appeared upon the waters. After seeing this, Captain Larsen would command one of his men to climb into the ship's crow nest to get a better view on what's hidden in the mysterious glow. When he came into the crow's nest, he would look and see something that scared him so much that he lost his balance and fell down on the deck. With his last breath, the sailor would say, "The Flying Dutchman." The captain ordered a second man to climb into the crow's nest to confirm what was said. The sailor named Landersbury would say that he saw a ship floating above the water, surrounded by a red flame. Landersbury would say, "It's the infamous Flying Dutchman sailing away." The Prince of Wales, who would later become King George V, was sailing through the Australian waters when he was 16 years old on a ship called the Bacchante. During his younger years, the prince would spend many nights on the sea, but there would be one night that he would never forget. At 4 o'clock at the night on the 11th of July, 1881, the prince was traveling between Melbourne and Sydney. On this night, the prince and his crew would see a ship floating above the waters, surrounded by a red flame. Even though everyone saw the ship and knew what it meant, it would disappear in a mysterious way. They knew that they had survived the encounter, but they also knew that tragedy was promised to come to them that night. Just a couple hours later, at 10:45, tragedy would arrive. The Outlook, who was first to spot the ship of the Flying Dutchman, fell to his death from the crow's nest onto the deck. Everywhere the Dutchman comes, death and tragedy follow. But what do you think? Is the Dutchman still hunting the seven seas? Or is it nothing more than a ghost story? Either way, I would like to thank you all for listening. See you in the next one, and remember, history is written in mystery.